Here we go now.
La 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 la. Hey y'all. Happy Thursday? Is today Thursday? OMG. I almost completely forgot. Let me know if you guys can hear me, see me. We are live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on TikTok behind the scenes. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Miami. I almost completely forgot because yesterday was such a busy day. I almost completely forgot that Miami was even on. So at midnight, I'm watching the episode and getting annoyed just from the very, very beginning. Miami, I love the show. Apparently not a lot of people do because the ratings aren't rating. But I already told you, ratings do not equate to quality. And Real Housewives of Miami, for the most part, is a very quality show. And I even enjoyed this episode. But you know what you can do for next season? Just some notes, producers. I know you watch. Bye, Julia. Bye, Julia. We're good on you. Don't come back. No, thank you for your services. Get behind me, Guerdy. Get behind me, Guerdy. We had to pull this meme out again. Julia, Martina too. Martina's never been likable, but Martina and the microaggressions, macroaggressions that you're throwing at Guerdy, oh, you know, she could be very attacking. Roll the tape from this is what we're talking about. People don't like when we talk about race, but this is what we're talking about when you inflate what a woman has done. Your wife splashed her with water. And you're calling her attacking. This is what we're talking about. I almost called her a name. Let me take a moment. They start off the episode with Julia singing. Oh, here we go. I mean, if Countess Luann can do it, I guess so can Julia at her big age, wants to be an opera singer. And if you don't know about anything about being an opera singer, you don't start at Julia's big age. And then she gets so I'm starting to think the Julia that we met during this reboot is not who we think she is. She's not this sweet and meek and mild woman. She's actually atrocious, Karen, and cheats on her wife, allegedly. With black men, allegedly. I'm starting to think that because she went from, look at me, and the pianist is like, is everything okay? Well, I had some, a situation and it involved water and da 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 da. Really? Julia, I already told you, you are a non-mother. I can't wait till July 10th. I'll be in City Winery, Philadelphia, July 10th. Because the way I'm going to go in next week, Alexander Rogers is opening up the show. I already know he's going to go in. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, Philly, I don't know what you're doing. If you're in South Jersey, I don't know what you're doing. I'm not coming to South Jersey. Sorry. But I'll be in New York City, so you can come to that show on September 12th. Before that, we'll be in Atlanta on August 5th. Then we're in DC. DC, come on, DC. We'll be there in DC on August 22nd. Ticket information is available in the description. Anyway, back to Julia. And I honestly, I sound better. So Julia, at her big age, is deciding, I guess, again, part of her storyline this season is going to be her becoming an opera singer. Girl, give up. Give up. Don't nobody want to hear that. At least, you know what? Here's the thing that saves Countess Luann. Countess Luann has a very delusional personality. You don't even have personality. That's the one thing. I have to give it to Countess Luann. She's not a good singer, but it's a cabaret show. She's giving you comedy and those antics and the delusion. No one's going to be sitting around buying tickets to see you. She can't even do that. She can't even do that. Come on now. Look, Tyler said, Tyler coming in with the facts. Tyler says your vibrato slows as you get older. To be an opera singer, there is a special diet. You have to start from a very young age, not her big age. And I'm not being an ageist. I'm just telling you the facts as a trained singer. I'm not an opera singer, but as a trained singer, your big age, you're not getting into opera and you're not any good. There, I said it. Since no one else will tell you, we know Martina. I think Martina allows Julia to do whatever she wants, including black men. Oh! It's funny because it's true. Allegedly. Okay? Thank you, Dima. Dima says you sound better. Okay? Damn, we went really... Oh, no, well, it started... The episode for Real Housewives of Miami's episode started with Julia acting like a Karen. Look, I took notes, and some of the things that Julia said was so... And I don't want to say triggering. No, triggering is the only right word for what Julia was saying. Because she was making herself... She felt worse for Marysol's event than what she did to Guerdy. And you saw Guerdy kept up a brave face. Do I have the picture of Guerdy still? Hold on. I know I have it in here somewhere. Where is Guerdy's picture? Did I put it here? No, that's Kenya. I know I kept it in here for a reason. I know it's in... Oh, here it is. Is it? No, that's not... Oh, damn. Not that one. Oh, here it is. Look at Guerdy's face. Guerdy kept up a strong face after... Literally, you see her drenched in water. The makeup's not moving though. The makeup is not moving. Oh, we're going to talk about Kiki Natural Eye on TikTok because Kiki's throwing Guerdy under the bus. So Guerdy literally kept up a brave face, but you see later when she has a conversation with Russell, that's when she breaks down. And production, I don't know about that music you were playing under that scene. That was very serious. Not fairly, it's very serious. All right. So so we see in the scene with Julia practicing her opera. She's talking about what happened with her pianist, who probably really does not care. He's like, lady, you're not paying me for this. You're paying me to help you become an opera singer at your big age. You're not paying me to listen to talk about your drama with people I don't know or will ever know. But then we see 3 different scenes of Guerdy speaking with Alexia. I have to say, I don't always love Alexia. However, Alexia was the only one speaking sense at that baby shower when she was just like, you're mad at the wrong person. Like, why are you mad at whoever brought this news to Lisa? I don't think it was a big deal. Guerdy obviously didn't think it was a big deal either. You're telling the entire group. Did you guys think that it was a big deal that Guerdy told Lisa that Larsa was talking about what happened between them in Milan? I didn't think it was a big secret. You're filming a show. But Larsa wants to distract. She wants to make it more about someone else. Now I'm starting to think that maybe you're the one who put the battery in Julia's back. But you're so concerned about who told Lisa. Mind you, what we see in that scene with Lisa, Alexia, and Marysol was already telling Lisa what happened, but Lisa at that particular point already knew. But Marysol in that moment was already telling her. So, like, come on now. And I feel like they were reaching for a storyline. So Guerdy spoke with Alexia about this in a separate scene, and she tells her that she felt like she was assaulted by Julia. I mean, I told you last week they should press charges. Well, I mean, okay, I didn't say press charges, but she could. It was assault. Let's be honest. So she says that she felt like Julia assaulted her. In another scene, Guerdy tells Adriana, Adriana tells Guerdy that she feels like Julia has gone to the dark side. No lies told. It definitely feels that way. I don't know why. I don't know if she's always wanted to be friends with these other women, but Adriana says that she's been friends with Julia for like 10 years. And we talk about this all the time here when we talk about Real Housewives of reality television. We talk about how marriages are broken up by reality television, but we don't talk enough about how friendships are broken up by reality television. I also don't love how we're not seeing Adriana. And I get it. Adriana is a particular personality. She hasn't always been nice. However, please understand, for those of you on this cast, because I know some of y'all watch, please do not try and alienate people so that they won't be on this show anymore. Because your show is good because of the cast, not because of one individual person. Because all of you at some particular point have gotten on my nerves. Except Dr. Nicole. Wait, yeah, Dr. Nicole hasn't really ever gotten on my nerves. But for the most of y'all, I'm trying to think about the entire cast. Let me look at the entire cast. Please hold. Yeah, for the most part, every single one of you have gotten on my damn nerves. There isn't one that I love more. Even Guerdy has gotten on my nerves at some particular point. But I'm Team Guerdy today. Get behind me, Guerdy. Get behind me. I'm not playing with these people today. Where's my get behind me? There we go. Get behind me, Guerdy. I'm not playing. Because you guys are clearly trying to isolate her. You're trying to isolate Adriana. Sidebar, Adriana, your confessional look in this episode, the orange, the hair, the makeup, she looks good. You notice how Alexia calls out her fake relationships? So do we think Amari's fake too? We've been saying that we feel like the cross-eyed boyfriend is fake. It's okay. I think she feels like she has to do that because everyone's trying to alienate her from the group. But I think we all do like Adriana on this cast, right? I like Adriana on the cast. I don't love her all the time, but I don't like the way that they're sort of isolating her because of the Mean Girls. I don't like that at all. Sherry says, Juliana was cool, but this season, bye. I didn't like her ever. Roll the tape. I never liked her. Roll the tape. If you've been here watching our recaps, I've told you I've never really liked her. And now y'all see why. Guerdy also even had a conversation with Kiki. So she had multiple conversations with other people about the Julia of it all. Julia, in this conversation with her pianist, who really does not care. And he's like, can we get on with the lesson? You're trying to become an opera singer at your big age. We got a lot of work to do. So she's just like, you're such a Karen. You are the definite, you know, people like to throw that word around. No. Julia is a Karen. She might be worse. Come to the Kempire After Dark show and I'll tell you what she really is. I'm not going to say it here. Philly, I'll see you on next Thursday, a week from today. Go get your tickets. Go get your meet and greet tickets, Philly. Or I'm never coming back. You think I'm kidding? Shout out to Philly, though. You guys have been buying your tickets. Anyway. But we're not sold out. Go get your tickets. TikTok, you too. Who's coming to the Philly show? Show yourself. Apparently, shame works around here. Who's in Philly? All right. Ultraviolet says that Julia is the ultimate Karen. She's a lot worse. Vicky says, tell us now. Shout out to Vicky watching on Facebook. Maybe I'll go on Facebook separately and tell our Facebook fam. All right. Yeah. DEI or Day says Kiki has been acting funny towards Guerdy, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, I kind of know what it is, but we'll get back to that. All right. So we have that with Julia at the very beginning. Then we have Guerdy prepping for Halloween. I really want to see more of Guerdy in her element of working because obviously that's who she is. Yes, last season we were talking about her cancer journey. We're still talking about the aftermath of her cancer. And now she's sort of trying to get back into doing the things. Not only does she wants to feel like herself again, feeling like herself includes being active and decorating and doing stuff like that. I like seeing that side of Guerdy. That was the side of Guerdy that I liked from her first season. Okay. So she's decorating the house for her son who really likes Halloween and fine. So she sits down to have a conversation with Russell. And Russell's like, I don't like the fact that this big woman was standing over you and doing. Russell's very protective of Guerdy. He doesn't say a lot. But when he says something, we all sit upright, right? We all sit upright and like, wait, what happened? Why is Russell upset? But even with Russell being upset, he's not yelling. He's not being aggressive. He's not saying it to the women, even though he will. Remember, he had to get Larsa together last season. I think Larsa and Guerdy never really sort of made it back to a decent place after last season. Understandable based on some of the things that Larsa said. Just come on, and did last season as this woman was going through cancer. And the fact that the fans turned on Larsa so hard, I think she will never forgive Guerdy. You were like what? Why do I need you to forgive me? You were wrong. Oh, Winter says, where can I find a Russell? Apparently in Florida in high school. You got to rewind time. Yeah, I mean, Russell is a rare one. He's a rare one. And he allows Guerdy, because Guerdy is a big personality. But he's sort of the complete opposite, and this is where it works. But when he speaks, she pays attention. Okay? All right. Let's move on. Not move on. So Guerdy, remember I told you Guerdy was keeping up a good face in this scene with the water all over her. This scene really bothered me because you see the hurt in Guerdy's eyes, but she didn't want, that's why she didn't want to leave. I know Kiki was trying to pull her to leave, and she's like, I'm not leaving. And she sits down and she sits there soaking wet. And regardless, I knew she was hurt. And she breaks down with the person that she trusts to break down, and that's her husband. So she's having this breakdown with Russell, saying that she felt like Julia violated her. But here's the part that she mentions, and this is what we talked about last week. It was how no one really stood up for Guerdy. No one denounced what Julia did. And that was the most disturbing part. That no one said, Julia, you can't do that. That's wrong. No one did that. No one said, Julia, you need to apologize to Guerdy for that. Everyone just sort of sat there and was like, and then I saw a recent interview where Marysol was like, they both were wrong. Take a look at those.
Those two had the most horrific fight at a very momentous occasion, and they were both wrong. Okay. They were both wrong.
Where was Guerdy wrong? Please tell me. Guerdy was ready to have a side conversation with Julia about this, not to ruin your event. How are they both wrong? I don't understand it.
Those two had the most horrific fight at a very momentous occasion, and they were both wrong. Okay. They were both wrong. And it's very difficult to be in the middle of two friends fighting. I like Guerdy. Yeah. I've become closer to Julia, but in that moment, they were both wrong.
No, you were wrong for not saying something after one of your guests, splashed another guest. You were wrong. You were wrong. Julia was wrong. Alexia was wrong. Larsa was wrong. Kiki was wrong. You know who wasn't wrong in that situation? Guerdy. Guerdy wasn't wrong. Period. I'm not arguing with anyone about it. You can have your opinions. Go get you a YouTube channel and tell your opinion there. Julia was wrong, and all of y'all were wrong for not defending Guerdy. And guys, if you're just joining us, this is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Miami. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Thank you so much for the super chats, the VENMOs, the cash apps. Bernice, thank you for the super chat and for being a member. Bernice says, I prefer Adriana over Alexia. But like I said, I feel like everyone in this cast makes the cast. I feel like the entire group, we're not seeing enough of Adriana this season, and I think that's intentional. I think they've iced her out. And some people might say that Adriana did it to herself. I can see that, but we need to do better in involving her. We can't X her out. And that's why she decided to throw this baby shower. Do I think she wanted to throw a baby shower for her friend? A small portion of me believes that she wanted to throw a baby shower for Julia, but a bigger portion of me believes that Adriana wanted to have a scene and have an event. She did a good job, though. I thought the event was lovely. Yeah. But I do want to see more of Adriana this season. I don't need to see a lot of Adriana, but I don't like how you guys are treating her. I don't like the way that you guys are treating Guerdy either. So fix it. Guys, before we continue with our Real Housewives of Miami recap, it is summer and our sponsor, Factor Meals is sponsoring today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Miami. You know, the summer can be hot. Who wants to be over a stove? Not me. And Factor has you covered with chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals. They have Calorie Smart, Keto. They have Protein Plus. They have 40-plus add-ons. They got you covered this summer. Summer is here. More sun, more light, more time to do all the things that make summer so special. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer? Spending hours cooking inside. That's where Factor comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. And of course, we got you guys a discount. Get started at factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use Kempire50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Kempire50 off at factormeals.com/Kempire50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/Kempire50 off. And if you're watching on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, head on over to our YouTube channel. You can find out all the details in the description. The same for those that are listening to the podcast version of this. Check out the episode notes. Sassy on TikTok says, I'm glad that Lisa walked out. She showed dignity for herself. Adriana was the word of wisdom at the baby shower. We're gonna talk about the baby shower. I just don't want to jump ahead. I don't want to jump ahead. But so Guerdy breaks down with Russell. Again, I didn't love the music they were playing under Guerdy's emotional scene. It felt like the production wasn't taking it serious enough, or the editors weren't taking it serious enough. I didn't like that. So Guerdy talks about the fight with Julia, and she talks about how she felt like Julia violated her for the girls' entertainment. That was so critical, and this is what we said last week. This was before we knew anything. We saw from that scene Guerdy putting up a strong face. But Guerdy, in speaking with her husband, her safe place, she says, I felt violated by Julia for the girls' entertainment. So Guerdy was already clocking that these women aren't her friends, that these women are the ones coming up with this plot and plan, maybe to ice her out. So Guerdy is already telling on them. And I can see that Alexia is trying not to be a part of that. On some level, I can see Alexia is trying not to be a part of that. I can see it. You know, like I try to give credit when credit is due. I can feel like she's being sensible when a lot of these women are not being sensible. At least when it comes to this. When it comes to Todd, she's nonsensical. Thanks, Cute Potato, for the gifts. We appreciate you. Shout out to our friends watching on TikTok. We're talking about Real Housewives of Miami. So Guerdy says that she feels violated by Julia for the girls' entertainment. She also says that she felt degraded. Like, these are all little key words that I think we need to pay attention to. And for those that are not a black woman, this might go over your head, some of what you saw in that scene, but I'm going to point it out to you. She talked about being violated in front of these women, a group of white women. She's talking about feeling degraded. This is what I'm telling you. Like, she tried to put up a strong face in this scene, but her eyes told me everything that I needed to know. And she was not about to let them see her break. So she breaks with her safe space at home with her husband. So she talked about that with Russell. In a separate scene while this is playing out, Martina and Julia go food shopping, okay? So Julia says, I owe Marysol a dinner for messing up her party. Okay. But then she says some words I had to highlight. She talks about allowing Guerdy to get the best of her. She acts as if Guerdy is the one that initiated all of this. Go back and watch that scene. Guerdy was more than willing to have a civilized conversation with Julia. Julia was the one who got really aggressive with her finger, then standing over her, and then splashing her with water. Like all of this aggression. But mind you, I really wonder if Guerdy had done the same thing, what the other women would have said and done in that moment. What would they have said and done? They probably would have had a big reaction. They probably would have called security, saying, "I don't feel comfortable in front of Guerdy. I don't feel comfortable." But if Julia does it, they feel fine. You guys might want to check why you have that difference. You might. So she says, "I hate the fact that I'm allowing Guerdy to get the best of me," and then she says, "Guerdy made it very difficult for me." Oh, woo, woo, woo. And she's saying this to Martina. And then Martina decides to say that Guerdy likes to attack. She's very attacking. Really? Really? First of all, Martina wasn't even there. How is Guerdy attacking? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about these little trigger words that people like Martina and Julia are saying. Did you see the event? And I'm sure Julia gave you a different version of the event, but I'm sure she also told you that she splashed Guerdy with water. Because she brings it up and then you see Martina's face like, oh. But Martina will let Julia do anything she wants, including not come and show up for her when she needs her the most. We've seen that. We've talked about it during these last couple of seasons. I was like, if Martina liked it, I love it for you, girl. So Martina lets Julia get away with a lot. But this is where we draw the line. And I know people last week talked about how they adopted 2 black boys. I hadn't seen the boys, so I didn't want to run with that narrative. However, in this episode, they did show the adorable boys, though. Oh, cute! Jackson and Luca. So they're raising 2 black boys. And I said this on Twitter last night. It is even worse now knowing that they're raising 2 black boys because they don't realize these microaggressions that they're doing, and maybe they do. And they need to become conscious of it. Sandra Bullock recently, well, not recently, maybe like a year or 2 ago, talked because she has a adopted black son, and she talks about having to protect him in this world that doesn't protect him or see value in him. So this is what triggered in my mind. If they don't see what they're doing with these microaggressions, what is that going to be like for them? Them their parents not realizing how they are going to be seen in the world and not protected in the world. The world doesn't know that they have 2 white parents, 2 white mothers. Like this is very serious. That they don't even realize. They're going to have to realize because you're raising 2 black boys. And your behavior on the show shows me that it's very, very concerning. And you really need to make a concerted effort to understand where you went wrong this season. Not for the show, not for the fans, but for those boys that you're raising. And I'm happy that those boys have a loving home where they're able to have everything and every opportunity in the world. But with every opportunity in the world here in the United States especially will always remind those 2 boys that they are black. And if their parents don't see them, because those will be the first ones like, I don't see color. The world does. The world treats them that way. They don't, and it doesn't matter that they have 2 white rich parents. And especially when their white, rich parents are treating a black woman like this right now. Here we are. Here we are. Someone clip this and send this to Julia. DM it to her. They need. This is where it goes beyond just a show. It's very dangerous. And I wish it wasn't them. I wish it wasn't them where we were seeing this problematic behavior and they have two young black boys that they're raising. I really wish it wasn't, because I was like, this is very dangerous. Ultra says, Julia's rich? No. We know she's married to a rich woman, Martina. Okay. Anyway, we will get back to that, I'm sure. So they talk more about Julia. Martina says that Guerdy is very attacking. I don't understand where you got that from, especially when you weren't there. But okay. So Julia did send a text message. I don't recall her apologizing, but she wants to have a conversation with Guerdy. And she says, but she never responded. Are you surprised? Are we surprised that Guerdy, who felt attacked for the entertainment of these women on the show, because remember, it's one thing to have this attack, but it's another thing to have it play out on national television in the moment and then now again. It's embarrassing. It's degrading. And she already went on her social media. We talked about this last week when she was sort of making a joke about it in her caption. And then the week before, she was posting these long Instagram story. Girl, and in that Instagram story, there was no apology to Guerdy. Okay, let's move on. All right, so we have that moment. So Larsa and Stephanie. So we're finally introduced to Stephanie. Here's the thing. I'm not going to say I love Stephanie yet, because you know I have trust issues. She's a Scorpio, though. Shout out to the Scorpios. You know, I had to look it up, because there were certain things that she was saying and doing that made me go, I kind of like her. But it's too soon. I like her personality so far. Like, she was coming in hot from the very beginning. And it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel fake. However, I do feel like they were trying to, exaggerate her luxury. Not saying that she doesn't have the luxurious lifestyle, but they want to emphasize it. They always do. Even if the housewives don't have it on some of these cities. I'm not saying that Stephanie doesn't. Clearly, she does. This is her jet. We can't fake the funk like they did on Dubai with the faking of the cars. Who said that? What? Who? What? Now people are going to be like, what? Mm-hmm. Come on, now all those people were rich. Okay. Coco on TikTok says, Scorpios rise. Scorpios rise. All right. So far what I've seen of Stephanie, I'm liking. But the climate part of me, like the climate change part of me was like, why are we taking such a huge jet to Orlando from Miami for an hour trip? I get it for the reality show and for the fans. They love this lap of luxury. But then I think about all the things that have been happening with our weather. And I'm like, yeah, girl, we don't need to be just taking a jet to Orlando to pick up some dogs. There's just that side of me, okay? Okay, sidebar. Who's coming to the Philly show? Let me know in the chat. Remind me I have to mention something to you guys exclusively at the Philly show. And it's about Miami. Remind me. And just remind me it's associated with Stephanie. Remind me, Philly. Okay, who's come to the Philly show? Because I'm gonna drop tea there. This is because everyone's like, how is that show different than the one we get on YouTube? Very different. People that are attending spill tea. And then we have me spilling tea. Remind me. I got to write it down. I can't wait. I mean, it's not that juicy, but I'm not saying it here. You guys will hear it first. Okay? Exactly, Jasmine. Look, I get what they are doing. They want us to, she's so luxurious. She's flying an hour in this. It's a huge jet. It's not like a small plane. I mean, it made Anthony's plane look. Come on. Let's be honest. It's like, it's a huge plane. So the carbon footprint of it all, Jasmine said, for an hour to go pick up some dogs. I mean, I guess she wanted to get there quickly because Orlando to Miami is like 4 or 5 hours in traffic. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm just telling you what popped up in my mind, but I get it. A lot of you are like, who cares about the climate and the environment? We want lap of luxury. Roshonda, remind me. I have something to spill. Okay? But we got to keep it at the Philly show. But when I come to Atlanta, I'll spill it there, maybe, if I remember. I am 40 something now. Sorry. I forgot I did that last season when she was singing opera. I thought we were done with Julia singing opera. Kayla says, maybe the way you drive, Kayla. I've done the drive from Orlando to Miami. It's like 4 hours. Kayla says, nah, only 3 hour drive. That's like a 4 hour drive. Maybe with traffic, it's 4 hours. She's like, it's 3 hours. The way you drive, Kayla, Wayla. All right. So we get to understand how Larsa and Stephanie met. They met through Caroline Stanbury, speaking of Real Housewives of Dubai. And Stephanie immediately said, I didn't want to talk to her. I didn't want to meet her. She was just like, she doesn't like the whole group chat thing. But she says after they did the group chat, she's like, oh, I liked her. Okay. So she talks about that. And then she talked about flying. She decided, I'm guessing Larsa's acting like she didn't know that they were flying somewhere. You're meeting her at the airport. So they fly to Orlando to go pick up her dogs. All right. So we get to know a little bit about Stephanie in this moment. So she's married to the man that owns this big real estate company in Florida. Okay. They seem to do very well for themselves. We haven't met the husband just yet, but they're doing very well for themselves. Look at the plane. Okay. Look, Angel says Kempire is going to be on his billionaire's booze PJ, private jet, going from New York to Philly for the live shows in the future. Yes, but I wouldn't tell you guys. I wouldn't tell you guys. How long is that flight? Maybe an hour or two? It's just the most convenient way. Who wants to be on the train? I mean, that'll be the way I'll be getting to Philly this time around. Whoa, 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 Kempire. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. So they go to pick up the dogs. All right. So while she goes to meet her parents on the tarmac, Marysol calls her. Marysol's like, where? She's like, I'm on the plane. She's like, oh, you got to go on the plane first. Mm-mm. So they talk about, what do they talk about? Oh, they talk about Alexia. And Alexia told Marysol that Todd asked for a 3-month extension? A 90-day extension of the divorce. Okay, I don't know how you guys feel about this storyline with Todd and Alexia. I do believe that Alexia is trying to hold on to this man. Because remember, they were together a long time before they actually got married. They were together as boyfriend and girlfriend longer than they were actually married. I don't know why he divorced her. I'm a little suspicious. And I'm leaning on probably believing Adriana and her talking about the money issues more so than believing that he just wanted to divorce her and it was because of the show. And she talked about that she was willing to leave the show if it meant saving her relationship. I believe her when she says that. She's a Taurus. This is where I can relate to her in a lot of ways. All right, let me not waste time on some of these scenes that don't matter. So Larsa FaceTimes with Marysol. Marysol talks about Alexia, they're extending the divorce filing. And she's just like, I don't know what's happening with this situation. Fine. Well, speaking of them, so Lisa, Marysol, and Alexia meet up. They come to check up on Lisa because you remember last week, Lisa's father had passed away. So they come to check up on her. All right. So Marysol brings up what Larsa told the group. So this is why I was sort of like, when I rewatched it, I was like, wait, Marysol was the first one to bring it up technically on camera to Lisa. But you notice a little bit later on in the conversation, she says to Lisa, like, who told you? And because remember, we also see Lisa has sent a text message to Larsa, because I'm guessing after Guerdy told Lisa, she text Larsa the picture of her dead father. Lisa is a little bit of a strange bird, okay? So Marysol brings it up, that what happened at the event where Larsa talked about what happened in Milan. So they said that Larsa said that Jody was yelling at her, and that Lisa was telling him not to talk that way to her friend. And here's the thing. In the same scene, we have Larsa FaceTiming with her friend that we met in the Milan scenes, okay? And the friend, although the friend could be being coached by Larsa to reiterate what happened, but raise your hand if you believe something happened in Milan. I'm not saying that Larsa is not good for creating a storyline. Good, I'll put in quotes. But I believe something happened. Because they were all good. Remember after the conversation they had with Wife Beater? Fabulous? Remember, they were good after that. So something happened. And I really believe this cast are downplaying the wide eyes thing. Yes, he already had wide eyes. But remember the AC of it all a couple episodes ago? I feel as if they're all saying wide eyes without saying coke. What? Oh, wait. Who said that? I feel like that's what they're doing. They don't want to say it, but I feel like that. Look, my wide eyes right now. I feel like that's what's happening. They don't want to say what it is. I believe something did happen in Milan. Don't have me defending Larsa. It won't be long, Larsa. It won't be long. Because then they bring up to Lisa that she's like, they were talking about his eyes. She's like, I like his wide eyes. That's just how he always looks. Why would they be talking about his wide eyes? We know he has wide eyes. Larsa was talking about his wide eyes without saying the full thing, right? They're talking about his wide eyes. What makes your eyes wide? I don't know. Well, definitely what's happening with my eyes is not AC. Okay. She's like, I like wide eyes. He looks like a Furby. Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. I'm not a fan of Larsa. Please understand this. But I'm also not a fan of Lisa all the time. I believe, and I've said this before, I've been saying this, Lisa moved on way too quickly into another relationship while she was in the middle of a divorce. Okay? And I think that she will do anything. Remember, she used to protect Lenny too. And I think if Lenny was still with her, she would still be protecting Lenny. Remember, this is the same woman, allegedly, that they would have these parties. She said, I didn't even like to party. But she would still have these parties every weekend in her house while, allegedly, Lenny's upstairs with random girls. Allegedly. I'm just saying allegedly because that's what the other ladies have said about Lenny. Right? So I feel like she's going to make any excuse to protect Jody. Speaking of making excuses, she did go on Instagram to talk about the reality of her friendship or lack thereof with Larsa. I have the clip, so let's play it. Please hold.
Hi guys, I had to just get on here because there are so many lies I have to correct. And I have to set the record straight. Larsa keeps saying that we were best friends for 15 years, and that is not true. We would see each other at events, but we didn't actually become friends until 4 years ago, right before the reboot. That's when we started talking and texting, and that is how our friendship began. We became friends.
Sidebar, did any of us think that they were really friends for 15 years? I think we all figured that these two really reconnected during the show. Larsa was busy being friends with the Kardashians and then getting kicked out of the Kardashians and not being able to talk about them. I think we already knew. We already knew that, right? Well, okay.
Because of the show. We bonded through that experience just like Marcus and Jody did. So tell me how she is mad at Jody for the exact same thing. This show literally creates friendships, but calling yourself a good friend over and over does not make it true. Good people,
I agree with that,
don't have to announce it. When has she ever really shown that she was a good friend? Like through her words, her actions, her empathy, none of it. Look how she reacted when Nicole.
I have to stop her there because although we are not fans of Larsa, I will say we all were shocked how, at least on the show, how Larsa really showed up for Lisa. But I also feel like if the tables were reversed, Lisa's not going to be that person. She's always going to choose a man over her friends. That's just how I feel. And I've liked Lisa over the years. However, and you know I'm not a Larsa fan, but I do feel like that was the one time we kind of looked at Larsa like, look at Larsa showing up for her friend.
Join the show. Look at her reaction to Guerdy's cancer diagnosis.
I mean, no lies told. No lies told. But I never thought that Larsa and Guerdy were really friends.
Her idea of a friendship was showing up to a court hearing for me that she was subpoenaed to be at. So that is not being a friend.
Let's not downplay that, though. Just because you've been subpoenaed to testify for your friend on your friend's behalf, we saw it with the Diddy case. Just because you're subpoenaed doesn't mean you have to show up, right, Gina? So please understand the fact that your friend testified for you in favor of you. Let's not downplay that. I don't like how, but you see what I'm talking about. But if Jody did that for her, she'd be talking about it forever. He testified for me under oath, and he did this for me, and blah blah. But I don't feel like she's a girl's girl, if I'm being honest.
That's literally following a court order. And then Jody in Milan, and her telling people that Jody went crazy, like literally went crazy, at an off-camera Philip Plein dinner and disrespected her.
So is Lisa saying that that's made up? I don't know if I believe that. I believe something really did happen. Okay, guys, in the chat, and those that are watching on TikTok and Twitch and Twitter, do you believe, hey, Kel's watching on Twitch, do you believe something really did happen in Milan? Because if nothing happened in Milan, why aren't you guys good? Why wouldn't you guys still be good? Why would she I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible that she wouldn't create something, but I just feel like something did happen. Remember, Jody left at one particular point because he wasn't getting Lisa's attention. Did he go home and get some good AC? And then came back mad? Just asking.
More than 80 people there and nobody saw it? How convenient. No cameras. I'm pretty sure Philip Plein has security footage, so let's pull it.
Let's pull it, please.
Let's pull it. But
here's the thing, though.
You know what?
Here's the thing. Lisa knows they're not going to pull the camera footage from that event. She knows that. Come on.
Would prove nothing because it didn't happen. Also, let's look at who Jody is. He doesn't raise his voice, not to me, not to his daughter, not to my kids, not to anyone, not even his ex-wife. And she would tell you that. But Larsa is literally known for provoking people, yelling. She started that moment in Milan. She created that drama.
Started what moment? I thought the moment never happened. What moment, Lisa? Now I'm looking at Lisa like, is it lying, Lisa? Okay. She was saying that there was no moment. Now all of a sudden there was a moment.
For provoking people, yelling. She started that moment in Milan. She created that drama. This wasn't real. It was manufactured to fit her storyline. She's done it before. She'll do it again. So tune in next week as the Larsa Pippen tour continues.
That's a funny face right there. I just where it froze. Sorry, y'all. Lisa, I hate the fact you got me defending Larsa. Larsa, buckle up, though. I got one for you later, though. Let me say thank you because we have quite a few. I didn't realize how many super chats we have. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. We appreciate your support. You can also support the channel just by liking today's video. If you're a member of the channel, I will be dropping a call link for you guys on the post tab. Matter of fact, let me just do that now. I'm not going to take calls yet because we still have a few more things to go through for our Real Housewives of Miami recap. But if you are a Royal Court member or above, I'm going to drop the call link for you guys. And shout out to our members. Become a member today at TheKempire.com/join. I actually think, if not today, tomorrow I will go live and replay the New York City show for our members. Okay, so members, check that out. Team Kempire's members, I will drop the call link for you guys shortly. Let me get into the super chats. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, Julia at her big age looking like a big deranged ostrich, and her crooked looking wife. I think Kiki wants to be the only chocolate person on the cast. I hope not. I really hope that's not what it is, or it's just her always feeling like she needs to. I don't know. I don't like it at all. Seniors, thank you so much for Super Chat. Senior says Julia repeatedly expressing that Guerdy got her to the point of assaulting her was disgusting. Spinning a narrative per usual. Karen behavior. That's typical Karen behavior. YBN, thank you so much for the Super Chat. YBN says icing out strong cast members just ices out the audience. Period. Let's be real. Bravo won't extend the same grace to Real Housewives of Miami that they did for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Point has been made. Amber, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Amber says, why did Guerdy greet Julia last episode with, you look like a friend I used to know? Is there more behind the edited show we aren't seeing? I couldn't tell you. I'm seeing the same edited version that you're seeing. It could have just been her saying that, the friend that she used to know. You know what I mean? I don't know if we should read that much into that. It could be just sort of like we're not the way we used to be. Lady D, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Lady D says, former housewife Anna says that Julia and Martina adopted 2 black boys. Alarming. Yes, Lady D, we finally this week got to see the picture. They're adorable, but I have concerns. I do have concerns, especially with the microaggressions and macroaggressions that they're displaying towards Guerdy. Stephanie, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Stephanie says, I don't know if you mentioned this already, but Julia told the opera coach that a drink spilled and went everywhere. Such a lack of accountability. Julia is a fraud. I didn't say that, but thank you for the actual quote. Yeah, she said a few things. I was like, you are really trying to change the narrative behind what you did. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for the Super Chat. I think I got this twice. Thank you, Stephanie, for the Super Chat. Let me just make sure is it the same Super Chat? It is. All right. Thank you, Stephanie, for the Super Chat. Tasman, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Tasman says, Lisa used the words, my dead dad, too many times for my comfort. Not to be unsympathetic, but feels like she's using it for a storyline. Can we talk, especially with her theatrics at the end, and for her to start like, I didn't want to make this about me, and then she makes it about her by storming out. I do feel like she is, and I hate to say that, I get it. She lost her dad. She lost time with her dad. She regrets not spending more time with him. But we talked about this last week. I was like, well, if you knew he was dying, why are we going to Milan? Larsa shouldn't have said it. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, you don't have much time with him. It doesn't look good. So why don't you go there? And now all of a sudden, no, it's this big thing. But fine. Tasman, I get what you're saying. Not to be unsympathetic, but feels like she's using it for a storyline. Who else feels like that? Show yourself. Thank you so much, TikTok, for the gifts and the shares and tapping your screens. Keep tapping your screens. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami. Hey, Rita. Rita sent me a scarf, y'all. I don't have it in here, but she sent me this beautiful scarf. Thank you so much, Rita. We appreciate your support. She says, just started watching from the beginning. Best way to end the long workday. Lisa and Julia can go. Thanks. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Rita. Thank you for being here. Rita also gave me these peppermint teas, and then she gave me, because I love the William & Sonoma lavender honey, so she gave me the one from Germany. Look, in the jar, like, yeah. I love tea, Jamaican. All right, let me focus. Okay, so we talked about that. Oh, okay. So she sent that picture of her dead father to Larsa because Guerdy had told her. But Lisa refused to tell Marysol when asked, like, who told you about what happened at the event? As if it was a big deal. I don't understand why they were making it. This is where sometimes the housewives start producing themselves. You know what I mean? This is when they start producing themselves, and it's like they're trying to create drama. And I'm like, come on now. We don't need that. Okay. So the next scene, Larsa, we already talked about Larsa FaceTime with her friend that was in Milan, and they reiterate the story. Again, I believe, even though I do feel like the friend was coached into bringing up the story during this FaceTime, but I believe something happened. I don't believe Lisa when Lisa says nothing happened. That for me just, again, confirms that maybe Jody was acting out of character because cameras weren't around. Might be that AC getting to him. Allegedly. All right, so she FaceTime with them, and then this is where Larsa says that she feels like Jody is a social climber, and she's concerned that he's involved in all of Lisa's business dealings. I'm not that concerned that he's involved in her business dealings. That's just who Lisa is. I feel like Lisa doesn't have a full brain. Oh. I just feel like I could see her allowing a man to take over her life. She likes that. When she was married to Lenny, she didn't have to worry about a thing. She didn't have to think about a thing. You think the last thing that she wanted to do was go from having everything taken care of to now having to take care of herself? She likes the fact that Jody's going to come in, pay her rent, take care of anything, be involved in all her meetings, all this stuff. She likes that. So I'm okay with it, but I agree. Larsa says that she feels that Jody is a social climber. Patricia says, I don't believe Larsa. Okay. That's fine. Look, we can agree to disagree. Hannah says the AC makes people go crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're abroad. That abroad AC. I love that we're getting scenes with the friend Dove. So we get the scene with Kiki picking up her father. Her daughter Summer is adorable. I love her daughter's just like, I want to go somewhere. We're going to the airport. I want to go somewhere. And she's like, where do you want to go? Party. You want to go party? Yes. You remember last week she wanted nothing but chocolate. They kept on offering everything but chocolate. She's like, I want chocolate. Summer's adorable. So they pick up her father. Remember that Kiki and her father had been estranged for like 10 years because she started doing the modeling, and they associated her, posing in bathing suits and things like that as being like an OF model, I guess. I don't know. So they didn't talk for like 10 years, but her family coaxed her, like, you need to talk to your father. You know how, Caribbean families are. No matter if the father was abusive or whatever, you need to talk to your father. Really? Okay. So she's been trying with her father, but she's really been trying to have her father really connect with her son. And she tells, the son's in college. He's like, oh my God, he's in college. He has 7 kids. She finds out during this conversation that he has a 3-year-old boy now, younger than Summer. So but again, if you are Caribbean, we're not like, oh my gosh. We're sort of like, tracks. Look, doesn't matter. Haitian, Jamaican, Trinidadian, it tracks. We under like, oh, all right. Sidebar, did you guys hear about the Haitians beating up the ICE agents here in New York, Brooklyn? Y'all better stop messing with Haitians. Okay, you know how they got their independence. Just saying, stop playing. I was like, oh, shoot. I keep seeing all these different TikToks and things like about it. Yes, AGJ, Google schmoogle it. Haitians get the ICE people together. This is my selenite bracelet. Hold on. Y'all know I got like my crystals. This is my selenite bracelet. Not my crystals. And I got black tourmaline. Because people evil. Look, people are evil. Yes, Pageant Bobby says yes to New York. They were not having it. Okay. Anyway, that's a sidebar in your Haitian news. Okay. Oh, Tabitha said the guy needs to stop playing with them. Oh, you mean in regards to Caribbean men? Yep, guy needs to. All the Caribbean men, the West Indians. Okay. All right. So she picks up her dad. She finds out she's got another brother. She's talking about having a better relationship with her dad, but more specifically, she wants her son to have more of a relationship with him. He's a handsome man. I'm not surprised that he was a Rolling Stone. Come on now. He got 7 kids and got the nerve to judge her. Isn't that funny? How he was so judgmental of her posing in bathing suits, but he's over here cheating and treating her mother terribly. Really? But we know the hypocrisy of it all. The hypocrisy. So that was a cute little scene. All right. So Marysol, Larsa, and Julia and Stephanie all hang out. Alexia was supposed to be there, but Alexia doesn't show up. But this is where we get to learn a little bit more about Stephanie. And they go at Stephanie's home. Larsa's telling the girls about Stephanie before Stephanie gets there. And she's like, oh, she doesn't really like kids. She's like, Boogers and Birkins don't go together. And I can agree. And when she arrives, Larsa tries to put her Birkin far away from her. The read that she laid on Larsa in the confessional, she's like, don't take my Birkin away. Okay. I was like, okay. She's like, she doesn't want anyone touching her Birkin. I was like, okay. I liked her commentary. She already was bringing a lot of really great confessional commentary for a newbie, and it came off so effortlessly. So it says to me that it's not fed to her. It's who she is. But we shall see. But that's the vibe that I'm getting. But the fact that she's so cutting, and I looked up her astrological sign and it said she was a Scorpio, and I said, that tracks. That tracks. So we get to know a little bit more about how she met her husband. There is an age difference between them, but she's honest. She's like, I didn't really love the age difference because she doesn't like the stereotype of, a younger woman dating an older man and how people view people like that. And I kind of respected that. I was like, oh, so she really is not like just a gold digger. Yeah, she likes the lap of luxury. She doesn't want any children, she says. She says she's too busy working. She says she's so busy working that even if she wanted to have kids and to save her eggs and freeze her eggs, she's like, I don't have time. She's like, I'm working. So we get to see her at the office working and things like that. Look, is she really working? I don't know. However, I lost my crystal. Is she really working? At least she was doing more than Mia from Real Housewives of Potomac, organizing empty cabinets. So she would sit at the head of a table saying a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I mean, maybe the husband put her in a position and she looks like she likes to work. So I'm here for it. This is part of what people like of Miami. They like to see the luxury. That's why people had to have that scene of them just going to Orlando for the dogs in her huge plane. I won't be surprised if she flies them up for the reunion. Okay. And how do you guys feel? Like, her style is different. Her style doesn't give me Miami. It gives me like, I guess her style is, what's the word? It's a little old school. It's a little older because she's only 40. She's going to be 41 at the end of the year. Yeah, I looked it up. So it's how would you guys describe her style? Her style is like, it's a lot of Chanel, a lot of like collars. She doesn't dress provocative. She definitely seems like an old soul. You know what I mean? Tyler says, may that life find me. May that life, Savannah says, amen, Tyler. You know what? Y'all are our best. May that life find me too. I would love to have a private plane. However, I understand it's not good for the environment. Okay, but I can carpool or airpool, right? It's a big plane though. It's not one of those little small ones, right, Anthony? Sorry. I mean, he's still got his own plane and his own boat. Anthony's not hurting, okay? Oh, is that what you... Okay, K. Sandra says, cosplay old Gidget. Yes. Yeah. Tasman says it's like Upper East Side old money style. We find out that she's Colombian. She talked about growing up on a farm. Like 3 months out of the year, she would be in Colombia on a farm. And Larsa is actually surprised by that because that's not who she thought she was. Julia loves it. She's like, oh my God, you love farming too. So Julia's already loving her. Here's the thing. I feel like this is very Housewives, very Mean Girls, very sorority. Like, they are trying to woo her onto their side. This newbie. Because remember, Dr. Nicole was really close with Guerdy, is really close with Guerdy and Adriana. So the new girl, they want to bring on their side. That's the vibe that I was getting with how they were sort of like cultivating this new friendship with Stephanie. Okay. So, and I forgot to mention, Larsa talked about how Guerdy was baptized by Julia on the plane. I forgot to mention that. I felt like that was a gross way of describing it because it wasn't, that's not cute. That's not funny. And remember, we have to remember, Larsa's raising Black children. Yes, they're biracial. However, the way that they will show up in the world, a lot of times people will view them, like Preston, as Black. Just saying, if we're going to talk about Julia raising Black boys, we got to also talk about Larsa raising Black children too, and how she didn't step up in that moment. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Norma. Norma says, Kempire, she is a Latina that has not grown up in the U.S., so she maintains a certain conservative style. Well, she's grown up. Remember, she was born in Miami, but she spent 3 months out of the year in Colombia. So she did grow up in both places, but I can see that. I can see her being, that is the word I was looking for. She dresses more conservative than we see some of these other women dress. I can appreciate it. And I like that she's her own person. Stephanie, I know at this particular point, you're probably going to start watching a lot of people talking about the show because you want to see what people think about you, but you probably don't care because you're also a Scorpio. Good. Keep that. I like what I got from Stephanie so far. And what's the assessment, y'all? For those that are watching on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and on YouTube, what's your assessment of Stephanie so far? I'm not going to say that, oh my gosh, she's my fave, she's the blah, blah, because it's too soon. This is one episode. I like she's authentically herself. I think she actually was a good addition. Who cast her? Remember, production does new casting. Who cast her? And is that why Dr. Nicole decided not to come back? Because she did date Anthony before. Is that why Dr. Nicole didn't come back? I don't see that. The more I see it, if Stephanie was still single, then I could understand. But I don't think so. Stephanie seems to be very happily married with her husband. Well, we'll see. We haven't seen their relationship yet. Well, okay. Pageant Mommy says, I enjoyed her on the episode. So far, I like her. Belicious says, she's all right. Wendy says, she all right. Mersando says, Stephanie, for now. Damn. You guys are not an easy bunch. All right. So they meet up. They're having this conversation. We're learning a lot more about Stephanie, okay, in this moment. But Alexia's still not there. And they're like, where's Alexia? This was a foreshadowing, though, because they're like, where's Alexia? Why is Alexia late? Alexia ends up texting. They call her, but she doesn't pick up. Alexia ends up texting like, oh, I'm going through a lot. I got a migraine. I'm not going to make it. Okay. So Larsa's already like, she's probably with Todd. But there's a foreshadowing. Because Stephanie says, you know, one of my pet peeves are people that are late. Have you guys seen the preview for next week's episode? Lisa and Stephanie get into it about her being 2 hours late. And again, that scene again made me like Stephanie a little bit more because I also don't like when people are late. That's happened to me a couple of times recently. I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you late? Come on. So that's her pet peeve. So that's sort of like a foreshadowing of what's to come next week. But I believe Alexia was with Todd. I don't believe that she had a migraine. I believe she was actually with Todd. In my opinion. What do you guys believe? All right. So before we move on, guys, don't forget the Kempire After Dark show is coming to Philadelphia a week from today. It's literally a week from today. We'll be at City Winery in Philadelphia. Go get your tickets. Meet and greet tickets are available as well. This is the last hour, y'all. Go get your tickets. This is a crucial show for Philly. Just saying. Go get your tickets today for our live show, a night of hot topics where we have to talk about Diddy, Tyler Perry, everything that's happening in pop culture. And of course, we'll be talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta and Miami because the episode, next week's episode. So for those that are watching today, you won't get your recap for Real Housewives of Miami until I get back from Philly. So that probably won't be until the weekend. So Philly, you'll be getting my fresh and only thoughts about the Real Housewives of Miami next Thursday during the Philly show. So go get your tickets today if you haven't. Then we're coming to Atlanta on August 5th. Then we'll be in DC on August 22nd, and then back here in New York City on September 12th. Ticket information will be available in the description. And don't forget, the New York City show has a live stream option. Get your tickets today if you haven't already. Tina says, 2 hours late, just don't come at that point. Well, it's a filmed event. From what I've heard, she told production to leave without her, but production decided to stay, allegedly. So either way, all these housewives are always late for some reason. Like I don't. Shout out to production for having the patience that they have with these women because it takes a lot to do this work and film and set up and do this. So a lot of times they are late because they're getting all their glam and whatnot done. I don't know why you get all this glam done and you end up face tuning everything that you put on social media, Lisa. All right. Moving on. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Sage, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. Sage says, Haiti, stand up. I'm here for my Haitian brothers and sisters, even though Kiki blocked me for telling her how I felt about her behavior last week. I already tell you guys, you can share your opinion here, but don't be going in their comment section or tagging them in mine. I'm not saying that Sage did that, but I'm just saying. But I can see Kiki was definitely getting it last week. Rightfully so. And she about to get it again here. Right, Kiki? Kiki used to follow me here on TikTok. I don't know if she still does. It's okay. Tam the Scorpio, thank you for being a member and thank you for the super chat. Tam says, her style was giving me 1950s Mary Tyler Moore and Patty Duke with the flipped hair and the hairband. I was like, it's so different. When it comes to the personalities of these other women, it's so different. I was like, I'm here for it. So I thought Stephanie, but her personality was definitely not giving like 50s housewife. You know what I mean? It was definitely giving more like, which I can appreciate. Shay says, Lisa's always late. Nobody told her? Well, she's like, not on my time. She's like, let's go. I love it. All right, let's talk about Julia's baby shower. So as you know, Adriana is throwing Julia's baby shower. Again, do I think Adriana was throwing the baby shower because she really wanted to do something nice for Julia? A smidge. I think a small part of her wanted to throw something nice for Julia. A larger part of her wanted to have her own moment. She wanted to have a scene. This was a way for her to have a scene. So I do believe that. I do. I don't know. In my head, 25% of me thinks that she threw it for Julia. 75% of me thinks that she did it for herself. But even though she did it for herself, I have to say she didn't make it about herself. Right? She didn't make it about herself. I do believe her intention was to have this filmed event, but I do believe in throwing the event, she made it about her friend. You know what I mean? So everyone's arriving, all right? But before everyone arrives, Adriana reveals that Julia asked for Stephanie to sit next to her. Why? See, you see what they're doing. They're trying to woo all of the new girl. They all try to do that. And Julia specifically is trying to do that. It's a new girl, so she doesn't want the new girl being friendly with like Adriana or Guerdy. She wants the new girl to be on her side because she already knows she's going to need every single ally that she can get. But let me tell you something right now. Anyone that defends Julia's behavior, you're now the enemy. Get behind me, Guerdy. Look. You're now the enemy because I don't know how you could justify Julia's behavior.
Those two had the most horrific fight at a very momentous occasion, and they were both wrong. Okay. They were both wrong. And it's very difficult to be in the middle of two friends fighting. I like Guerdy. Yeah. I've become closer to Julia, but in that moment, they were both wrong.
Really? They were? Okay, exactly. Elle says, and Adriana was like, I agreed to sit her across from Julia because she was like, I'm your best friend. I'm the one who's throwing this. I'm going to sit next to you. So everyone arrives, all right? Alexia swears that she, in her confession, she's like, I promise you, I was not with Todd. But the body language was telling me she was with Todd. It's fine. Whatever, Alexia. You want to look stupid? Look stupid. Fine. Alexia says to Adriana, while they're all gathering, she was just like, she said, she was under a lot of stress with everything that's going on. And she's like, which you added a lot of stress to. Alexia, first of all, at this particular point, you should be not necessarily praising Adriana, but you shouldn't be that mad because Adriana basically foretold what was happening. So I don't understand why all of a sudden in this moment, this is why they're so mad at Adriana, because she was right. And she's just like, well, which you added a lot of stress to, but we won't talk about that now. Girl, let it go. You should be more mad at Todd degrading you on social media and making you look like nothing but a gold digger. That's who you should be mad at. I mean, I get you being a little upset with Adriana, but let it go, girl. It's not that deep. She was right. All right. So more happens in the episode. Again, if you're a member of the channel, I did drop the call and link for everyone on the post tab here on YouTube live chat. Once we let's get to 400 likes, and I will drop the call link for you guys. Even though we have like almost 1,000 people here watching, I don't know why you haven't liked the video already. Keep liking the video. So Stephanie's there, and she tells Alexia, okay, Stephanie, this is where I was like, oh, okay, Stephanie, you're doing a little too much, because she says to Alexia, because they told her about the situation with Todd. She was like, if you throw something in the garbage, you don't go back in the garbage and pull it out. Although I agree with Stephanie, I feel like you don't know Alexia like that to be saying something like that to her. But this is why it makes her a good housewife, because she's not afraid to share her opinion, even if it's at an inappropriate time. This is what makes her a good housewife. Okay. Cameron says, wait, I want to know, are her boys black? Yes. Julia's sons that she adopted are black. They showed the pictures during the baby shower. So yeah, she did adopt 2 black boys. Okay, Jackson and Luca. So Adriana, so Alexia, of course, did not like that. She's like, oh, but so in her confessional, she's got a lot more talk, okay, about that. But I agree with Alexia. Like, y'all don't really know each other, but I can appreciate Stephanie just speaking her mind. So Adriana gets everyone together. She wants to make a toast. Then Alexia gets up. And Marysol's looking at her like, where are you going? She gets up. She's like, can I make a toast? And she's just like, I guess. So she makes this toast, and it definitely gives bridesmaids. Did you guys see Bridesmaids? So where it's competing, she's like, well, I've known Julia for about 3 years. Of course, Adriana's just like, well, I've known her for 10. So they had this little back and forth. She's like, it's not about the amount of time. I thought it was a bit much and again, this is a reminder that, yes, Julia is trying to form a new relationship with Marysol and Alexia and Xing out her 10-year friendship with Adriana. And I thought it was weird for you, of all people. You're not that close to Julia. You really have just become, in the last year, close with Julia. And I don't even think it's that deep. I didn't think it was that deep for you to be making a speech at her baby shower. All right, so they end up playing these games. They do the whole let me eat what's in the baby's diaper. Kiki wins it. She figures it out. Fine. Then they play this game. Who in the room would you have, truth or dare? Who in the room would you have a threesome with? And Julia's like, oh, I don't like threesomes. No, I don't like threesomes. And Martina tells on her, it's like, but you had a threesome. Did y'all have a threesome? You and Martina? I believe it. And probably the other guy was a black man. Just saying. So Martina tells on Julia, and she's like, but you had a threesome. She's like, well, but I didn't like it. One person's waiting on the side. Probably was Martina waiting on the side while she was. I'm going to leave this for Philly. We'll talk about this in Philly, so we can really talk about it. Okay. So Julia finally decides, she's like, well, if I'm going to have a threesome in this group, it's going to be Stephanie. And Stephanie's just like, we just met. Okay. And for those that were wondering where Guerdy was in this moment, Kiki revealed that Guerdy was in New York City at the time. All right. Larsa then answers a question, and then Larsa is so delusional. She's like, sometimes like my biggest flaw is that I'm too loyal. Said no one ever. Said no one ever. And you can see Lisa's face like, oh, really? All right. Then Kiki gets a dare, and they dare her to twerk. So she's twerking in front of Martina. All right. All right. Okay. Poppy says that Kiki's an op. Because Kiki in this moment, because they start talking, Lisa gets up to go to the bathroom, and they start talking about who told before we get to that, Lisa talks with Stephanie, and she was like, oh, I heard you have an airplane. And she's like, I'm trying to be friends with the people that have jets and yachts. And I'm so glad that Stephanie in her confessional was just like, I don't want to be friends with someone that just wants to be friends with me because of my jet or my yacht. This is who Lisa is. And this is for the Lisa defenders. Like, do you see what we're talking about with Lisa? Lisa is surface level. Larsa can be surface level, but we've seen other sides of Larsa that show that, okay, sometimes she has some depth. Sometimes. For the most time, she's always at the Kim Kardashian surface. Okay? But Lisa's like, yeah, I want to have friends with yachts and jets. I was just like, this is who she really is. Okay. And then Stephanie's just like, okay, weird. But at least she's telling you who she really is. So Larsa, when Lisa steps away, says that she's upset that someone told Lisa about what happened at Marysol's wedding celebration. And I love the fact that Alexia was the only one at the table saying, it's not really about that. That's not even the point. Like, whoever told her, that's not the point. And I had to rewind it back because I was like, why are we more mad at who told Lisa than we are about what you were doing or sharing at this event? But at the same time, I didn't see a problem with you sharing what happened in Milan. You were basically saying, this is what happened. But Lisa's saying that was a lie. And of course, Lisa was not happy about it. I think the part that people are missing is that when Lisa found out about it, Lisa texted Larsa that picture of her dead father. Her words, okay? So when Lisa comes back, are you guys talking about me? She loves it. And Julia instigates this. And even Kiki calls her out like, why are you instigating this? Because she's like, who here is the one that told Lisa about what happened at the party? And I'm thinking to myself, why are we bringing this up? Why is that important? That's the part that I don't understand. Exactly. Pageant Mommy said that Larsa just shared her experience at the event. I didn't think that was a big deal, but I think the reason why Larsa's upset is because Lisa texted her upset. So Julia brings it up. She's like, who here is the one that told Lisa? And Lisa's just like, it's not important. And Lisa's like, I'm not a rat. I'm not bringing it up. I'm not saying. Because she knows it was Guerdy. So eventually, Kiki's was like, well, Guerdy's the one who told me. Why did you have to say that, Kiki? You could have just stayed out of it. This is why people are calling you the ops. You did not have to say anything. But I know Kiki wants to be full-time on this show. I don't know if at this particular point while they were filming, if she knew that she was still going to be a friend of. Because remember, they're filming these separate scenes with Kiki. So I don't know if in her head, she was thinking, I need to work overtime in order to keep my position on the show. Because you didn't need to. And look, when they flash back to when Guerdy admits that she was the one that told Lisa, Guerdy was like, and? She was just like, yeah. She's like, I told her. Because it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big secret. You're talking about something that's being filmed. You're talking about something in front of the entire group. You're talking about something that Larsa and Guerdy aren't that close anymore. I didn't see a big deal with what Guerdy told Lisa. But Larsa wanted to make it more about someone telling her that. She's like, she's grieving her family. No one should be going to her and spreading a narrative. You're just upset that Lisa found out that you were talking about her and you were confronted with it. That's why you're upset. Let's talk about what you said. Let's talk about the incident and not who told about the incident. But Jillian says it's not a big deal. It's not. Ultraviolet says that if Kiki wants to be full-time, go after Larsa, the one that disrespected her last season. But they're in a better place. You saw they're in a better place this season. So I think Kiki's playing it wrong. I definitely think she's playing it wrong. But again, she did not have to reveal that. Let Guerdy be the one to reveal it. Or Lisa be the one to reveal it. But all right. Let me take a sip, y'all. Thank you, Q Potato, for the gifts. Thank you, guys, everyone that's watching on TikTok. Keep tapping your screens, TikTok. Let's get to 50,000 likes. For those of you that are in the live chat, I did promise that once we got to 400 likes, I would drop the call link. But we have over 1,000 people. Keep liking the video. Let's get to 1,000. No, well, let's get to 1,000 likes, but let's get to 500 likes as well. Thank you so much for the super chats. Don't forget, guys, you can also hear our live recaps and all of the Diddy updates. I had 3 lives yesterday talking about Diddy because so much played out, from the breaking news to more stuff that were playing out during the day. And then he was denied bail. All of that you can hear on the Kempire podcast, along with our live recaps like this one. All right, Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Excuse me, y'all. Kendra says, Lisa was late on Anthony's plane and late for the reunion. Oop, Kemp, you've been reading today. Have I? I didn't say anything. Stop lying on me. Tina, thank you so much for the super chat. Tina says, I love that Stephanie gathered Alexia at the shower. But did she lie? I mean, I do feel like, oh, wow, to come in so strong with someone you don't know. But at the same time, I appreciate it. It just says to me that she's going to be a good housewife. So apparently a lot of the women have known, or at least, what was it? Marysol says she's followed Stephanie on social media for like 2 years. Okay. Doesn't say that they've been friends, but all right. But she's done work for her husband as well. All right. So they have a lot of that. Lisa gets very emotional. And here's the thing. Can I be honest with you guys? I do feel like Lisa was putting 20 on 10. I do feel like she was being exaggerated. She's exaggerating. She's like, I don't want this to be about me. But then she's making this big, grand, exit. And she's like, I don't want this to be about me. And, and I'm, my father just died. It's not even a week. And here's the thing. I understand. But at the same time, I do feel like she's using that as a part of her storyline, as a part of for people to feel sorry for her. I do feel that way. I have to be honest with you guys. I hate to say it, but that's how I feel. Okay? So she makes this big exit, all right? Probably, do you think that she made the big exit and the big drama because she didn't want Larsa to bring up the fight? Because remember, there was something that happened in Milan that Lisa's denying happened. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering, are you trying to avoid, and that's why you exited, because you felt like it was going to go from talking about who told you to talking about what happened in Milan? Just asking, wondering, maybe, we shall see. Mia. Mia says, Kiki did nothing wrong. Kiki hate is forced. Kiki, get off your burner, girl. But thank you for watching. Kiki did nothing wrong. This is my opinion. I think that she was wrong for carrying news that she did not need to carry or getting involved. If Lisa did not want to reveal who told her, why is it your job to bring the news? Or trying to pull Guerdy away, or tell Guerdy to change her personality to fit in with these white women? The Kiki hate is rightful. We've been people that said, oh no, we like Kiki on the show. We think that Kiki has potential to do more on the show. So please understand, the Kiki hate, which is a strong word. You used it, I didn't, is not forced at all. But Kiki, get off your burner, girl. Get off your burner, girl. All right. What else happened? Oh, so Lisa makes her grand exit. We see the preview for next week's episode. I will say this. Although I don't love some of what's playing out when it comes against Guerdy and Adriana on the show, I'm still locked in when it comes to Real Housewives of Miami. If you guys had to rate this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Miami from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? TikTok, let me know. Let me refresh. Let me see what you guys are saying on YouTube in regards to our poll. 61% of you rate this week's episode a 7 to 10, which is very good, better than what we've seen with Real Housewives of Atlanta. And 33% of you rate it a 4 to 6, which I don't think is bad. 6% of you rate it a 1 to 3. Okay. Katanya says that Kiki was 100% wrong. I just think her mouth moves before she thinks. I do not think she wants to hurt Guerdy. Well, we'll see. I don't know if I would say that she's intentionally doing it, but I also think that she is trying to fit in with this group. I do. I think her motive is more so that she can be full-time on this show. Exactly. Foxy says, yes, Kiki was wrong. However, that does not mean she is a bad person. And I don't think I ever said she was a bad person. Not Kiki's father is a turd. He did not even tell her that he had a 3-year-old. Right? Like, how do you have a maybe he just found out. Maybe he just found out. Come on. It's funny because it's true. Oh, damn. We got a long line backstage. All right. Let me get to the callers. I've already been talking for an hour and a half. You can tell I like this show, right? Because I've been talking for an hour and a half. I can't say I can do the same when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's not true. I think I did the same thing last week. I think Real Housewives of Atlanta's episode was almost 3 hours last week. Well, after this, I'm going to take a nap because I deserve it. I never take naps. Vanessa, thank you so much for the super chat. Vanessa says, Kemp, something is not adding up with Stephanie. She says she met her husband 14 years ago, but his divorce was finalized in 2018. Rumor is that she used to work for him and that he left his wife for her. I will say this though, because he has so much money, it wouldn't shock me that maybe they were separated for a long time and the divorce took a long period of time. But maybe again, this was only her first week. Maybe some of that will come out during the season or maybe at the reunion. But go ask Andy that question for the reunion. All right, Vanessa. Or Vanessa, are you just another name for one of the other housewives on the cast dropping tea in the chat through a super chat? I appreciate the super chat. Something is not adding up with Stephanie. She said that she met her husband 14 years ago, but his divorce was finalized in 2018, 7 years ago. Rumor is that she used to work for him and that he left his wife for her. So that, I mean, the working for him I could see because remember she still works at the company. So I'm wondering, All right, Vanessa, Alexia. Oh, Alexia, are you on your burner? Because remember, Alexia and Stephanie have some issues this season. I don't know. Angel, thank you so much for the super chat. Angel says, donation, please add your impressions to the soundboard. Which one? Julia? Oh, Lord. Guys, let's get to 500 likes. Let's get to our callers. Remember, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors. Shout out to my skincare is brought to you by our friends over at Butter. Get 10% off. Head on over to the description for more details on our Butter collaboration. Also, you can also get our merch stuff that's in there. So you can get your Juneteenth merch, your Pride merch. All that stuff is available there. Also, don't forget, cancer season, I'm doing cameos. So if you have a birthday anniversary and you just want an inspirational message from me, you can book me on Cameo. All right. I always forget to remind you guys. All right. Let's get to our callers. And this is a long line caller. So I'm only giving you 30 seconds. And I haven't been, wait, I did drop the call in link. All right. All right. Let's get to our callers. Candace is backstage. Candace, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I miss you guys.
How are you?
I'm good. So the biggest thing that I'm seeing with Guerdy that as a black woman that's really affecting me is the gaslighting throughout the entire situation.
Yeah.
Is Julia saying to her, look what you made me do? Is Marysol saying like they were both wrong? Like Julia can be wrong independently and you don't have to bring Guerdy into what Julia doing was wrong. You know, I think as black women, we're always kind of expecting that we're going to be standing alone in certain situations. But for Kiki to be there and kind of not support her, even if Kiki thought she was wrong, deal with that off camera. But on camera, we're going to have a united front because we don't need two black women in this situation. So we're going to be together on camera, but I'll get you together off camera.
Okay. Thanks, Candace.
All right.
Bye.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye. All right, Miss Bernice, backstage. We're bringing Miss Bernice up next. Miss Bernice, what did you want to say about Real Housewives of Miami?
Hey, Kempire, what up, everybody?
Hey.
I just want to make this observation with Julia and whatever. I hate it when people want to adopt underprivileged children for the novelty of it and not for the fear fact that you really want children and you want to give them a better life, as in sharing your love with them. That's what Julia and Martina is giving me. It's a novelty thing. You didn't really care about them children. You just wanted to get them and boof up your storyline to make it seem like you're human. But we can see that you're not.
Oh.
But other than that, it was all right, y'all.
No. Thanks, Miss Bernice.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Look, I don't want to downplay them adopting those young boys and giving them a good home. I'm just concerned with the behavior that I've been seeing from both Martina and Julia already this season, and you're raising black boys. The lack of sensitivity towards a black person, a black woman, is showing a lot, and it does make me concerned. All right, Janelle's backstage. We're going to bring Janelle up next. Janelle, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Miami?
Bonjour, Kempire. How are you, darling?
How are you?
I am good. Before I begin on Miami, I just want to thank you for posting all your Diddy updates, because I know it's not my ministry. I could never do it. And I was sending your videos to my friends and family because I was like, can't do it here. So watch Kempire. Anyways, they need to get rid of Julia. I'm all for queer representation on these Bravo shows, especially Real Housewives. I believe we need more of it. However, the moment you threw that drink, girl, bye. I was already getting sick of you last season because you were trying too hard, but now you smelling of desperation and caring behavior. And so I just can't stand for it. And also the whole Guerdy situation, low key, it triggers me because I literally went through a very similar situation myself in April, but it was short of someone putting their hands or throwing something at me, because I'm not the one, nor the two, nor the three. Okay. So why are you looking like that, Kempire?
Because I want to know more about it. If you're willing to share, you don't have to, but I want to hear.
I mean, I don't want to go over the 30 seconds.
No, I own the platform, so tell me.
Okay. What can I say? Basically, I was on a team. And Norma's in the chat, so she knows exactly what I'm talking about, because I sent her a voice note about it, because she was trying to get in touch with me and said, girl, I'm going through too much. There was a person of color on this team that I was on, and they started doing some problematic behavior, telling lies on me, spinning the narrative. And because this person is 5'1" and Asian and 100 pounds wet, and I am 5'8" black and 300 pounds plus, bonjour.
No, you're not.
Huh?
No, you're not.
You know, I'm fabulous anyway, but you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of love to give. This person started spinning narratives on me and telling me that I was an unsafe person to be around whenever I called them out for yelling, cussing people out, saying horrible things to people. And when I would be the only one on my very white team to say something, everyone kept saying, we got your back, got your back. So when I saw all those women sitting at that table letting Guerdy be, what's the word that I can say on YouTube?
Assaulted.
Assaulted. Yes. I was like, oh, I've been there, where I have literally been in a room with a group of white people where they stared at me when this person was coming at me sideways, and they knew better never to throw anything at me or touch me. And I truly believe God in the universe pulled me out of that situation. And now the person's being canceled on TikTok. So I say karma is a you know what.
What? You better DM me the deets on this one.
Because literally this person right now, this is also the same person that did a show in February because they felt entitled enough, because they are a person of color, to portray Harriet Tubman. And there was no jokes about this person being an Asian playing a historical black figure. They felt entitled because of the one drop rule that was used against black people during the Jim Crow era, but because they have that one drop of black, they can play Harriet Tubman. So I was like, yes, the very rule that is used against us, you're now using in your favor. But now they're getting canceled because they tried to say that Filipino people were the same as black people, and that the show proceeded to pass out fried chicken to the entire audience because they thought it was funny. So they're getting canceled right now. So
okay, wow, not the tea.
I have never believed in karma so hard until that very moment. So I understand where Guerdy is coming from, where you feel very much alone. You don't want to speak up, because when I was going through my situation, I didn't want to speak up. I didn't want to be the only one. I didn't want to be, yes, again, the black woman who has to say something, because those situations never feel nice. Yeah. And also one thing, I also have a similar thing between Guerdy and And Julia, I was friends with this person. And I actually stuck up for them quite a lot when everyone was saying crazy things about them. I guess I had rose-colored glasses on and I didn't see it for myself, but I also tried to approach people with empathy and grace and give them a chance. Because if I give you a chance and you mess it up, then that's on you. Because I gave you a chance to be just a decent human being. Yeah. So, and everyone kept telling me, stay away from this person, Janelle, stay away from this person. I was just like, but y'all, like, have you ever been on the other end where someone just like puts something on you? And so like, and I would have dropped anything for this person. So I understand when Guerdy said like, yeah, I dropped everything to hop on this cruise with Julia. I was like, I've been there.
Wow.
I've been there. And now this person came out of their neck, came against me because they were jealous of me. I came to find out through the grapevine. So I was just like, well, that's on you. That's what therapy is for. Therapy is great.
Everybody on TikTok and on YouTube are like, name them. No, it's okay. It's
no,
right.
I'm telling you, I'm not even joking you. The video of this person, people back home in Florida were like, oh, I already know about the situation because it's come across on my algorithm.
And now that we're talking about it, it's going to probably pop up on mine. All right.
So yes, now this situation is also connected. This person being like canceled is also connected to a much larger issue. And I'm not going to talk on that because there's people that actually do like who are being affected by the actions of this one person. So I'm going to keep that part out because I don't want to add more fuel to their fire because they're trying to handle stuff. But like this one particular person, the fact that they're being called out for their problematic behavior, karma. Yeah. Be a good person, everybody. Yeah. Being a decent, nice person will get you much further in life than it will being cruel, mean, and a jealous person. Because jealousy is a disease, honey. You better fix it.
All right, Janelle. We appreciate you sharing your story while we go Google and head on over to TikTok.
I'll just send you the video.
Thank you.
I'll send you the video.
And I'll repost it. I'm playing.
No, don't post. See, I haven't even. I refuse to be in the comments nor like any of the videos because I don't want anything linked back to me because they're doxing people in the comments. Oh. So I'm like, nope, don't dox me. I don't know no one. I know nothing. I'm Jon Snow. I know nothing.
Oh Lord. All right. Thanks, Janelle.
You're welcome. Bye, Kempire.
All right. Toya's backstage. We're going to bring Toya up next. Toya, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. How are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm good.
Hold on one second. Wait,
one
second, Toya. Let me just get someone together. Kayla, I don't know if you're new here, but what we don't do in the chat is tell me when to go to the next caller. If the conversation is not fitting to you anymore, then you know what you can do. But please don't do that in the live chat. Thank you. Toya, what did you want to share?
Woo child. Okay. I just started watching Miami and I got all caught up. And of course, I was triggered by everything that happened. And then Julia trying to downplay it like, oh, something happened with the water. It just kind of moved, like, girl. But I also want to say that adopting 2 Black kids, there are documented issues with people, white people who have done that. There's a documentary on HBO Max called Broken Hearts. It was a story that went viral years ago of a lesbian couple that adopted kids of all races. And one of them, he was a Black boy that went viral for holding up a sign back in the day about, cops and unity and stuff. And yeah, that did not end well. They were unalived. Oh. And then last year, there was a white couple in West Virginia that adopted Black kids, and they were just convicted in January for human trafficking.
You know what, Toya?
So it's not. I'm not accusing them of anything.
We are not. But I get what you're saying.
It's not always what you think. It's sometimes it can be a front. I just started watching the show, but Julia, her actions. She really needs to have a stern talking to, because if you're going to be raising Black kids, if they're going to be around people who may not look like them, you really need to teach them how to navigate. They can't do it.
No.
After what we've seen.
No.
It's very sad.
They're ill-equipped.
Thank you, Kempire.
Thanks, Toya. Take care. All right. We gotta pay attention to the timer because we do have a long line backstage. All right. Let's bring up Nicole next. Nicole, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, well, great callers so far. I love all their perspectives because even like last week when I called in, I forgot to mention that I think the underlying issue maybe with Julia and Guerdy. I think when they were actually close, when they were friends, Guerdy, maybe Julia had been talking about the adoption, which she was last season,
Mm-hmm.
and then she probably talked about having, adopting black children. And knowing how Guerdy is, she's outspoken, but I think she came from out of love, telling her, what to expect when you're adopting black children. And
Mm.
instead of Julia receiving that, she used it as criticism,
Mm.
and because it doesn't make any sense why Julia is doing all this passive aggressive things to Gertie right now. And
Yeah.
so that's one thing I could just think of, because we all know we've had white friends who might have adopted children outside of the races. And there are some that really want to learn, like how to comb the hair, how to treat the
Mm-hmm. Sandra
skin,
Bullock.
those type of, yeah, and they'll be like, can you direct me to the right beautician,
Mm-hmm.
to treat, whether it's a girl or a boy, right barber, black barber. And I'm assuming Gertie probably gave her information, and instead of Julia receiving it, she did the backlash like what we're seeing
Mm.
right now.
Mm. All
That's
right.
all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Nicole.
Have a great day.
You too. I see a lot of people know about that story that Toya brought up. I'm like, oh, I didn't even see that story. Oh, not living in the basement, locked in the basement. We're not saying that's what's happening with Martina and Julia, but what we're saying is that they need to be a little bit more mindful raising black children. All right, Norma, we're going to bring up next. Norma hasn't called in such a long time. Norma.
Hey, Kempire. Happy pre-4th for
Yes,
those that
you
celebrate and
too.
those that don't. I'm just saying. I don't like Stefania. No me gusta. No me
Oh.
gusta. I don't know. Something about her energy. I mean, yes, I was someone that was born in the US, but I was raised in Puerto Rico. I know that conservative type of woman, and they think that well, I'm not going to say it because that's vulgar, but anyway, they think that they're better than most. And I just got that
Mm.
vibe from her that she looks down on people. Look at what I got. It's too much.
Mm.
Maybe I'm just being sensitive after that big ostentatious wedding in Venice and
Oh,
stuff.
Bezos.
I mean, yeah, I like the glamour and I like the luxury. I just don't like it when it's thrown in your face like, look at me, I'm better than you. And Janelle just sent me the videos. Oh my gosh. You know, if anyone's jealous of her, that's because she shines like a bright light, like a
Mm.
diamond. Our
Mm.
Janelle.
Mm-hmm.
Have a blessed weekend.
You too,
Stay
Norma.
safe, everyone. Stay out of trouble. Hades, Hades, Haitians, I'm with you.
Thanks, Norma. All right, we're gonna bring up April next. April, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Miami?
Hi, good afternoon, Kempire. How are you?
Oh well, how are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I agree with Norma. Stephanie, I got my eye on her, and I think it's because
Mm.
anyone that comes by way of Larsa,
Oh.
automatically I'm like, and also the drive from because I'm from Florida, live in Florida. You could have like got a fancy Mercedes Benz or like, a van, a Sprinter to go up there and go get your dogs. You don't need to drive the jet, but thanks for the glamour.
Mm.
Lisa was doing a lot, and I think oh yes, oh that's what I want to say. This episode was a 6.57 for me. It was like dry, kind of like Julia's wigs in her outfits. And have a great day, Kempire.
You too, April. Not dry like a wind. All right, Tam, the Scorpios backstage. Tam, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
So, what I want to say, first of all, I'm gonna start this off with hashtag get rid of Julia. We can't stand you. Lisa was doing too much. I do sympathize with like the loss of a parent. As somebody who has lost a parent, I
Mm.
understand what you're going through, but the crying at the end, these ladies with the crying, stop the crying. It's over dramatized, but I don't think anything was as bad as Alexia's crying those first two episodes, because her crying, she just looked like she was putting her back into it. It looked painful. And after that, that's all.
Okay.
And yeah, from one Scorpio to another one, I love me some Stephanie. Okay,
Okay. All right. Thanks,
Stephanie,
Tam.
she's there. She's blunt. I like it. Yeah, she's good. That's all, Kempire. Have a
But
good afternoon.
you too. Bye. And I said this before. I like what we got from episode 1 with her, but we shall see how it plays out during the season. Will it be forced? Will it be something that I don't like in a few episodes? We'll see. But what I got from her last night, I was like, I mean, besides the flying from Miami to Orlando. Okay. Excommunicados backstage. We're going to bring them up next. Excommunicado, what did you want to share?
Yeah, hi Kempire. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. Stephanie, I think she's giving me brief on the camp with a little bit more luxury. And can I just say that Alexia really is giving the brains of a Barbie doll with that whole claim of trying to blame Adriana for her breakup. Let's get out with that. Then Larsa just wanted a reason to be mad at Guerdy after they already put the battery in Julia's back for what she did. Then my main issue with this episode, I hate the fact that, I don't know if it's the editors or if it's the ladies, but the way they seem to be downplaying the whole situation with Guerdy, nobody really had a serious conversation about it. If this was Lisa, somebody would be at her house checking on her. and it's annoying because I know Guerdy is a strong person, but it kind of makes me sad that we, especially Black people, are kind of so resilient because it makes it seem like, oh, things don't get to us and nobody gets to stand up for us and actually have a conversation about things that happen to us. So it's crazy. And the editors played into it, and Marysol and Alexia allowing Julia to play victim. It was all so annoying, and it's making me kind of feel like the show is going sideways, but I would just let it go there.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for calling in. Yeah, I don't like how that's going. And I don't think it's the editors. I think it's just what we see in America today, especially today. I think this has been always this thing. So when people say that racism, and I'm not saying that these women are necessarily racist, except one or two of them, but there are those microaggressions that I feel exist that they're refusing to see. And I also do not want that to ruin a very good show that's been very good to us the last couple of seasons, but he's right. Why haven't we seen anyone go check in on Guerdy? All right. Kaboom is backstage. Kaboom. What's going on?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Kemp. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. I called in last year on my birthday, and I was kind of tipsy, and you were like laughing because I said I've been drinking. So I'm sober now, but I'll be back to drinking later for the holiday weekend. Happy 4th holiday.
You sure you haven't been drinking? I'm fine.
I'm just a hyper Sag, you know. I know you're into astrology. So
enough
we
said.
know how we do. We don't need nothing, but we turn up when we get a little extra something in us. But okay. So on to the show. I don't agree about Julia adopting the kids for a storyline because they've always wanted a child. Like from the first season she was here, she wanted another baby. So I think they're in general good people, but a lot of people are talking about they shouldn't be adopting Black boys. But what's the alternative? Just to leave them in the system and hopping home to home or being fostered by abusive, dysfunctional parents, because that's an option too. Because a lot of times Black children aren't adopted; they're the last to be adopted. So I just
like to clarify. I never said I don't think they should adopt Black children. What I did say is that they need to do the work and understand what comes with raising Black children.
Right. Maybe not you, but some of the callers are saying that their sentiments were that they probably maybe shouldn't have adopted. That's just what I gathered. But not you, Kempire. Not you. And so I think with Julia, her crazy cancer has finally come out because she was, I think, pretty low key and kind of mellow up until this season, but something flipped in her and that crazy came out, throwing drinks and whatnot. And if I were Guerdy, I would have thrown something back, but Guerdy just was so hurt and acting all dramatic and sad about it. But and Larsa, speaking of crazy cancers, she is out I cannot stand her. I hope she does not come back next season. She's so vicious with her mouth. She doesn't take accountability. What she said about Lisa's father not spending the last days with her, who are you to even dictate? We're not asking you what you would do, that you would walk across the ocean and be with your family. No one asked that. We're talking about Lisa, and her choice was to be there to do the fashion show, and she may have thought she had more time with her father. So I don't criticize her for that. And unfortunately she wasn't able to see her father, again, but that's her choice. So as far as Larsa's concerned too, I think when she got this new fake face and body, her personality shifted, because in the first season she was nice and kind of laid back, but now she thinking she the ish just because she can pull these little young basketball players who are just using her as a playground. Like, girl, that does not, give you that does not give you
not the basketball players using her as a playground. Okay.
But they are. Because look who she's dating now. Another, Jordan. Yeah. Another Jordan lookalike.
They even talk alike.
I know, girl. I just think that's her MO, and I don't know if she can handle a guy her age or older, because he'd probably check her. He would probably put her in her place, which she needs. Almost done here. Okay, so Stephanie,
no, we're done, Kaboom. Your time been up.
Sorry. All right. Well,
go enjoy your 4th and start drinking.
I'm not drinking until after 9 o'clock. All right, Kempire.
Bye.
Thanks. Have a good holiday.
You too. Bye. When she called in, was she drinking? Was it 9 o'clock? Now all of a sudden it's got to be after 9 o'clock. Kaboom. Okay. No, it's fine. Happy 4th for those that celebrate. All right. That is it. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to everyone that sent in Super Chats, Venmos, Cash Apps. We see that after the live. Thank you to everyone that sent gifts on TikTok. Those of you, shout out to our Kings Guards in the live chats. We appreciate them. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know about your thoughts on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Miami. How are you feeling about it? We're on episode 4. I feel like all the episodes have been at least solid for me. Like, it wasn't sort of like, oh, I didn't like this. This was dumb. And which can happen. Not every episode is going to be stellar. But so far, 4 episodes in, I'm like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm not loving the Julia and Guerdy of it all, but I'm locked in. All right, y'all. Don't forget the Kempire After Dark Villain Era show is coming to Philadelphia a week from today. So go get your tickets if you haven't already. Meet and greets are available. And then I'm coming to Atlanta August 5th, DC August 22nd. Then I'm back in New York City September 12th. All shows have meet and greets. The New York City show has a live stream option. So be sure to check that out. So even if you're coming to these shows, or if you're not, if you're in another country, the live stream option for the New York City show, you'll have that for about a week. More information on those shows will be available in the description, along with our sponsor, Factor Meals, as well. I appreciate you all being here. I will see you all next week. My next week's recap of Real Housewives of Miami will be late because I'll be in Philly. So Philly folks, you will get the first of my thoughts for next week's episode, which should be juicy. So stay tuned for that, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all for being here. Bye, y'all.
Here we go now.